Okay, so if you remember, when we are studying about exergonic and endergonic reactions, the difference between them is if they use energy to make product or if they release energy when they make product. So that will be the difference. Now, in this case, an endergonic reaction, a reaction that requires energy input from the outside source. The product contains more energy than the reactants. So one example of this is the photosynthesis, because we or the plants use sunlight and reactants, CO2 and water, and they will produce sugar and energy. Then the exergonic reactions, they release energy. So as you see here, we are going to burn glucose. We're in presence of the oxygen. Now we release energy in this case. So burning one molecule of C6H12O6 or glucose, we are going to obtain 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water, and energy that is going to be released. So what we can say is that the product has less energy than the reactant. So again, endergonic reaction, photosynthesis requires energy. The energy that comes from the sunlight or sun, and CO2, carbon dioxide, and water. It is going to produce glucose and oxygen. Oxygen that is going to be released into the atmosphere. So right here, we can say that the product has more energy than the reactants, because we had this energy that wasn't there. If we don't have this energy, then we won't have this product. So Roxana, it is clear, or you need another explanation? Okay, great. So now again, chemical structure and synthesis of ATP adenosine triphosphate. ATP is a nucleotide, so if it is a nucleotide, it has to have a sugar, a nitrogenous base, and a phosphate group. In this case, the nitrogenous base is the adenine, and the sugar is the ribose, and the phosphate groups, we have 1, 2, and 3 phosphate groups that are attached to the ATP. So adenosine triphosphate, because we have 3 phosphate groups. The bonds between the these molecules right here, between the phosphorus or phosphate groups, have a high level of energy, and that helps the different activities in the cell. Okay, questions about this? Maybe. Okay, no questions. Then I'll ask you a questions. Gaby Villavicencio. Okay, Gaby, what is an exergonic reaction? Okay, maybe she's not there. Let's see. Camila Garces, please. What is an exergonic reaction? Yes, both are right, Gabriela and Michelle. And now, what is an endergonic reaction? Giorgio, please. Okay, so ATP needs a phosphate group to make ATP. And this phosphate group is going to be a phosphorus or an inorganic phosphorus. Yes, the endergonic reaction absorbs or needs or requires energy. That's correct. The product will have more energy. That is correct. So, this reaction, when the ADP is going to get a new phosphate group or to form ATP, is going to use 7.3 calories per mole. And this energy comes from the exergonic reaction. So the reactions that are going to liberate energy, the reactions that are going to have products with less energy than the reactants. So the oxidation of organic molecules, meaning all the substances that we eat or the food that we ingest, it's going to oxidate. And in this oxidation, what is going to happen? Some of these reactions are going to release energy by the electrons used in the synthesis of ATP. So energy will be stored in the bonds of the phosphate groups that will be in these parts. And the energy that is not transferred into ATP is going to dissipate as heat. So if we don't use it and it's not stored in our body, it's going to produce heat. Okay, so energy of ATP is used for, so as you know, all the processes in our bodies need energy. And for that process, and these are some examples of those processes. So the synthesis of macromolecular and cellular components. For example, we use amino acids, energy, and we make a protein. Other cellular components, we can building blocks for the cytoplasm or the cytosol or the organelles. Cellular movement. Active transport of substances. Remember that there are some substances that can cross the cell membrane without energy. One example of this is the sodium-potassium pump. And, okay, question. What is the sodium-potassium pump? Okay, a ver. Martín Guamán, what is the sodium-potassium pump? Okay, if you don't answer, it means that you're not there, I guess. Let's see, Kevin Padilla. What is the sodium-potassium pump? Jennifer Aucay. No es ATP, pero utiliza ATP, Milan. An enzyme. No, it's not an enzyme. Yes, Camila Benrad. Yeah, the sodium-potassium pump, it's a protein that will transport potassium and sodium through the cell membrane. And when the sodium gets into the membrane, this protein, then the pump will grab an phosphorus from the ATP. When it grabs the phosphorus from the ATP, it closes in one side or the side of the part. It closes in the inside and it will open the other part towards to the outside of the cell membrane and allows the sodium to go out of the cell membrane. But now the potassium that are outside the membrane are going to come and be joined to this protein. When they join together, the protein is going to be closed, and now the protein will open again this part to the inside, and it's going to liberate the potassium. When that happens, the phosphorus that was attached to the molecule is released. So, yes, iones sodium and potassium, Milan, not phosphorus. They will move. Maintain the fluid blood volume in the body. Protein into the cell membrane, yes. Yes, Agustin, helps us with that too. What happens if there isn't sodium? If you think there isn't sodium, so we can't send the sodium outside the cell and we can grab potassium inside the cell, so we can't communicate, or our cells can't communicate, can't send signals, because if you remember, the nervous cells and the muscle cells are the ones that use the sodium-potassium pump to exchange sodium and potassium and to create an electrical gradient of energy on the surface of the cell, and that helps my cell to produce or to send energy. And let me feel and let me send my signals in my neurons, so in my nervous system. Yes, Kevin, transporta el sodio y el potasio a través de la membrana. Eso hace la bomba de sodio-potasio. Pero este es a favor o en contra del gradiente de concentración. La bomba sodio-potasio actúa a favor o en contra del gradiente de concentración. Muy bien, Dani, es en contra. Por tal razón, necesita esta sustancia de aquí. Sí, es en contra. Por lo tanto, se necesita ATP. El tiempo de vida media de el ATP es bien cortito. ¿Por qué razón? Porque el ATP está formándose y degradándose continuamente. Es decir, time life is short, ATP molecule is continuously forming and breaking down into ATP and phosphate or phosphorus inorganic. And it is synthesized again. So if you see here, we have ATP. The ATP liberates phosphorus energy and forms the ADP or adenosine diphosphate. Then it grabs another phosphorus and energy and gets back to the adenosine triphosphate. So this is going to, that is how it is going to work. So if you remember, when I say the sodium-potassium pump, this happens. This one phosphorus is going to be attached to the sodium-potassium pump and allows the sodium to go out of the cell membrane, while when the potassium attaches to the pump, sodium-potassium pump, the molecule closes once in the out phase, and now it is opening the inner phase with the liberation of the inorganic phosphorus, because that doesn't need more energy. Okay, questions? Yes, Jael. This part or the sodium-potassium pump? Okay, first, we have right here adenosine triphosphate. How many phosphate groups? 1, 2, 3. And here we have adenosine diphosphate. How many phosphorus? 1 and 2. So here, what happens? This adenosine triphosphate liberates one phosphorus, and if it liberates phosphorus, liberates energy. Remember, the energy is in the bonds of the phosphates. When that happens, now my ADP is not going to be ATP anymore. It's going to be ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Now, the next step is phosphorus coming again to join the adenosine diphosphate. But for that we need energy in the bond, and that energy is 7.3 kilocalories per mole. And now we have again ATP. So ATP is changing into ADP and going back to ATP again. Entonces, el ADP y el ATP van a estar en constante formación y degradación. Es decir, de ATP puedo perder una molécula de fosfato, un grupo fosfato, perder energía y formar ADP. Cuando tengo el ADP, nuevamente se puede unir a un fósforo y luego adicionarse energía y formarse el ATP o adenosine trifosfato. Y esto va a hacerse gracias a que se utiliza energía. La energía aproximada que hay en este enlace es 7.3 kilocalorías por mol. Ahora, ya. Entonces, ahora, los seres humanos utilizamos como 40 kilogramos de ATP por día en todos los procesos. En uno de esos procesos es la bomba de sodio y potasio. La bomba de sodio y potasio está en la membrana celular y esa bomba lo que hace es del sodio que está dentro de la célula se va a unir a la bomba sodio-potasio. Cuando esta unión sucede, se va a utilizar un fósforo del ATP que se conecta allí y luego se cierra la bomba sodio-potasio en la parte interna y se abre hacia la parte externa de la membrana celular, con lo cual voy a liberar el ATP, perdón, voy a liberar el sodio en la parte extracelular. Pero permite el ingreso ahora de 2 iones de potasio. Se unen los iones de potasio a la bomba sodio-potasio, se cierra la bomba en la parte exterior y permite el ingreso de los iones hacia la célula. Y con esto, en cambio, se va a liberar o se va a dejar ir al fósforo que estaba en la bomba, porque ya no necesito realizar el intercambio de sodio y potasio en contra del gradiente de concentración, sino más bien ya necesita liberarse ese fósforo para ser utilizado en otra reacción. Ok, Jael, it's clear or more clear a list? Okay. So, question. What are some reactions, some processes that living beings do and they need energy for that processes? Okay, thank you for letting me know that, Annalise. Okay, question. It's for, let me see, Pedro Pesantes. Or Emilia Sanchez. Romina Marín. Okay, what are some processes that use energy in human beings?